Hello and welcome. In this video, we'll discuss an interesting function which is called modulus function. The modulus function is represented as f of x is equal to two vertical lines. Inside that we have x. So these two lines represent the modulus function. So this modulus function, we also call this as non-negative function. Non-negative function. Call it as non-negative function because it does not take negative values. It always produces positive values. So why it always produces positive value? Because this is used to represent distance. Let us take an example. See, if I have a number line, and I start with 0 and I have a number line like this, both negative and positive axis. If I'm here and if I want to move 2 units to the right, so I'll be here. So the distance I traveled is 2 units. Next, if I want to move towards left another 2 units from origin, so I'll come here. Even though I travel on the negative axis, the distance I traveled from here to here is 2 units. So the distance cannot be negative. So to represent distance, we use this modulus function. So since distance cannot be negative, this modulus function is always called non-negative function. Let us see how the graph of this looks. So if it only produces positive values. Let us take some values. I'll take some values in the x-axis 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 and so on. The y-axis as well, I'll take some values 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 and so on. So f of x is actually, we can actually define this using piecewise function, piecewise representation of function. F of x is minus x if x is negative, that is if x is less than 0, and it is plus x if x is greater than or equal to 0. Why we write like this is, here if x is less than 0, that if x is negative, then I use minus x formula. So minus x will give you minus of x is negative, so minus of negative, which gives positive. So it turns every negative value into positive. Similarly, if x is positive, if x is greater than 0, I am using function plus x. So since x is positive, so positive, this is plus, so plus into positive, positive into positive will give me positive. So every time this function will give you positive answer. So what happens if I take this function? If I take this function as a box which takes modulus of x, so if I give minus 2, the function it takes is, if it is negative, it multiplies by minus 1. If it is positive, multiplies by plus 1. So minus 2 is negative, so it takes this and multiply by minus 1, produces plus 2. If it is 3, then it multiplies by plus 1 and produces 3. This is how it always outputs the positive value. So let's see what happens now if I take some value. Say if I take x is equal to 0, I have to consider this function, because for x greater than or equal to 0, this function I have to choose. So option is 0. If x is equal to 1, again I have to take this. If x is equal to 1, take x as the output, which is 1. If x is equal to 2, again it is 2. If x is 3, this 3 is like this. It goes on like this up to infinity. So I can join this. So this is what I get at the right side of the vertical axis. So next thing, let's see what happens at the negative side, which is an interesting thing here. If x is minus 1, if x is minus 1, I have to take this minus x, minus of x. So this is minus of minus 1, which is plus 1. So at minus 1 also it is plus 1. The same thing happens when you take minus 2. Minus 2 is multiplied with minus 1, which is plus 2. So at minus 2 I'll get plus 2, at minus 3 I'll get plus 3, minus 4 I'll get plus 4, like this. So if I join this, I'll get a straight line like this. So this function we call it as mod x. Let us take one more example. So what if f of x is equal to mod x minus 5? So whenever you put mod, if I say mod minus 5, this is plus 5, because if it is negative number, it takes this negative number and multiplies by minus 1, which gives positive number. So modulus of 6 is, since it is positive number, it multiplies by 1 and takes, so it is always positive. So now let us try to plot this on a graph. Let us start with 0. So if I put 0, f of 0 is modulus of 0 minus 5, which is modulus of minus 5. Modulus of minus 5 is plus 5. So at 0 we have 5. Let us put x is equal to minus 1. So f of minus 1 is equal to 1 minus 5. So this is minus 4. Modulus of minus 4 is plus 4. So at minus 1 I have plus 4. If you put x is equal to, oh sorry, I did a mistake here. F of minus 1 is actually minus 1 minus 5, which is minus 6. Modulus of minus 6 is plus 6. So at minus 1 we have 6. So let me write it little left. F of x is modulus of x minus 5. And let me increase the length of this. And let us take x is equal to minus 2. If I take x is equal to minus 2, f of minus 2 will be equal to modulus of minus 2 minus 5, which is modulus of minus 7. Modulus of minus 7 is plus 7. So at minus 2, it is plus 7. So it goes on like this. So I can join this. Let us take some positive values of x. If f of x is equal to 1, f of 1 is equal to 1 minus 5, which is minus 4, which is plus 4. Modulus of minus 4 is plus 4. So at 1 we have 4. So I can continue this. So what happens if I put x is equal to 5? If I put x is equal to 5, f of 5 is equal to 5 minus 5, which is 0. So at 5 it settles down to 0. So I get a line like this. Now what is interesting is what happens after 5. After 5, let us take x is equal to 6. So f of 6 is equal to modulus of 6 minus 5, which is 1. So at 6 the value is 1. So again so this comes from a very high value, very huge value, comes down to 0, and again it rises back like so. Now let us put x is equal to 7. We put x is equal to 7. F of 7 is equal to modulus of 7 minus 5, which is modulus of 2. Modulus of 2 is 2. So at 7 we have 2. Like this, if you continue, it keeps on going up to infinity. So this is how it goes. So how to remember this? To remember this is f of x. If f of x is mod x, if f of x is mod x, and I can write this as mod x minus 0. It means it starts at 0. So this will look like this. This is my mod x. So if if you want f of x is equal to mod x minus 3, then at from 3, so it looks like this. From 3 it looks like this. This value is also 3. And if you want f of x is equal to mod x plus 3, so this starts at minus 3. Why it starts at minus 3? Just equate it to 0. X plus 3 is equal to 0, so x is equal to minus 3. So at minus 3 it starts, and it will always have positive value like this. So this is also 3. So this is how you can remember the graph of modulus function. The next video will cover another important concept of modulus function. Thank you.